So the big question is, do we even need an action camera anymore, like this new GoPro Hero 10? Or is the ultra wide on like a new iPhone 13 Pro good enough? In today's video, we're gonna find out. GoPro 10, $500. Latest iPhone 13 Pro base model, basically double that at $1,000. It's a bit apples to oranges, but I love doing this test every year because as the gap closes for us, the average user, do we even need an action camera anymore, or is the latest smartphone in our pocket good enough? And this is a video comparison. 5K on the GoPro, 4K on the ultra wide on the iPhone 13 Pro. So how do the two look and compare? Let's go scooting along at the lake, get some wind rushing by and do a little audio test. This is audio on the GoPro Hero 10, and this is audio on the iPhone 11 Pro. How do the two sound and compare? Very interesting. The audio and the wind reduction sounded way better on the iPhone. Now I also like its ultra wide linear field of view, and its HDR video looks really dang impressive. In stabilization, GoPro wins in almost all the tests. At any resolution or frame rate, an action camera like GoPro wins in this arena. And I guess that's sort of obvious. If you're needing an ultra-wide lens with lots of shakes and wobbles and action shots, well then the ultra-wide lens on the iPhone just isn't good enough yet. As for the 5K versus the 4K resolution, it's funny because if you're watching this video on a smartphone, you probably can't even see the differences. If I freeze frame and zoom in, then that extra 5K resolution actually makes a big difference, and we can see that extra clarity on the GoPro side. Now let's do a little slow-mo test on the new GoPro 10. We can do 120 FPS up to 4K, which is pretty awesome. On the iPhone, we can do slow-mos 120 or 240, but it's only HD. I covered more on this in my other GoPro videos, check those out after this one, but the new 4K 120 FPS on the GoPro 10 is actually really incredible. The sharpness and clarity with quarter speed slowdown's really nice to have. Also notice its stabilization is much better than the iPhone. However, one thing that the iPhone still wins here is that dynamic range. Looking at the white clouds and the blue skies, they just look really nice. In a quick hyperlapse test, GoPro still wins here. Better stabilization, way more speed customization. iPhone hasn't updated this in years, which is a shame. Low light videos next, but first, thanks to this video sponsor, Artlist. All the music you're hearing in this video is from their website, which offers unlimited song downloads and one universal royalty-free license. They have a wide selection of music, sound effects, and even stock footage at artgrid.io. I personally like finding my music using their video theme categories. Helps me narrow down quickly to find the best tracks that fits the style of the video. Use my link down below and get 2 extra bonus months for free. Thanks again, Artlist, and back to the video. 4K 30 on each. I still find it interesting that at 4K, the iPhone still has the wider field of view, which I prefer. I'd vote the iPhone wins hands down here. It's way brighter and better exposure, way less noise and grain, more clarity in the shadows. Now here's a note that's a little obvious but should be stated. With the GoPro, it's ultra-wide lens only, of course, right? So we snap a photo, and then if we want to punch in, it's going to be digital crop, and here's how that looks. When you use a smartphone, well, you got the ultra-wide, which is kind of like that GoPro shot, and then you got the primary 1x on here, and then with the new 13 Pro, it goes up to 3 times telephoto zoom, which is really nice having the basically 3+ lenses all in one. With a standard action camera, well, you're stuck with one, and then any sort of zoom in is just going to be digital crop on a tiny sensor and won't look all that great. So this is one of those major reasons why I love shooting on my iPhone, both personal and for work content. It's convenient, always in my pocket, and the triple lens setup will beat out the single lens GoPro for photos any day. Now GoPro HDR photos are getting better each year, but I usually prefer these iPhone shots. Incredible dynamic range, good sharpness. Now I do admit in a couple of these shots I actually like the GoPro side better. Like here at the playground, look at those wood chips on the GoPro side. They look way more real to life than the iPhone side. Capturing some low light night shots, and check it out, super long exposures on the iPhone, and on the GoPro still using night photo, but here's how they compare. In this world of fast evolving computational photography, it's gonna be near impossible for GoPro to compete against an Apple. The noise and exposure look better on the iPhone side, even as I turned off more lights and made it even darker, though I do give kudos to GoPro. It's getting better as the years go on, and the shots aren't half bad. Now, how about battery life? Funny, GoPro actually seems to be getting a little bit worse in this area. Maybe it's the resolutions and frame rate, sensor, GP2 chip, whatever it is, but you might need a couple extra spare batteries to last for a full day. Flipping the coin, in the iPhone 13 Pro actually seems to be getting better in battery life. I was shooting with it for hours, ended the day with 5+ hours of screen on time, still had 36 battery percent left. It's really good. Screen brightness and touch, well, of course the iPhone is gonna beat out the GoPro and that tiny little screen on the back. As for durability, well, of course, an action camera is gonna win. It's better mounting options, and if I'm racing off-road with an electric dirt bike, I'm gonna pull out the GoPro and not my iPhone. Though I do love my Pataka cases, these things are awesome. Thin and lightweight. No, this is not sponsored, but they send me a few each year and I love to recommend them to my friends and family. We can still wireless charge through them. They magnetically snap to the car mount. I always use that thing when I'm driving around.